All right, welcome to our Friday dinner cooking demo video. And remember, you can always do some of these things ahead of time if Friday is not a day that you have a lot of time on, or one of the other days. Swap out recipes with what fits for your schedule and agenda. Now, one note is most of the dinners, the other 4 dinners I did this week, are 4 portions to have 2 for dinner, 2 for lunch. The Friday night dinner I only did 2 portions on because we don't have it as the next day for lunch with the weekend going on. Like I've said throughout the week, though, doesn't mean the weekend is free for whatever you want to eat, but we're going to still stick to trying to avoid processed carbohydrates, added sugar, and fried foods. Just follow those 3 rules for the weekend, and I think I've shown you different ways throughout this week to be able to accomplish that. Now, so this is our 1-pan sausage and mushroom kind of skillet, if you will. I went with sweet Italian sausage because my wife does not like spicy. I would have gone with spicy personally myself, either chorizo or spicy Italian sausage, but we went with sweet Italian. So we're gonna get that going. You could buy bratwurst and chop it up and do that. Now, 2 things on the recipe there is you can add a little oil if you need to get it going, but quite often I find with sausage, there's so much natural fat in there, you don't really need oil to get it going. All right, we're just gonna get this out of here. Sorry for 1 second. I'm gonna have to wash my hands, so I'm gonna go quiet on the video for a minute here. All right, sorry about that. So we got our pan on high heat. We threw our sausage in there to start cooking up. The one caveat, or I guess one other thing that we need to take into consideration with this dish is you do need a rimmed pan that you have a lid for. A regular saute frying pan is fine if you have a lid for that. For the 2 portions, if you're doing a 2-portion one that's in the meal planner, a medium-sized frying pan with a lid is probably gonna be fine. For the 4 portions that I'm doing, I doubled this recipe so I can have some leftovers. You're gonna need a little bit of a bigger dish. Now, one other thing I mentioned in the meal planner overview is that it would help to buy sliced mushrooms if you can. I bought little baby bellas, which are also known as cremini mushrooms. One thing of note, mushrooms are grown kind of in dirt or some type of medium like that. So they do often have a little bit of dirt on them. You can see this guy does here. So I take a damp paper towel, and sometimes I'll just wipe off any dirt that I see. I don't get too crazy with it. If there's a little bit of dirt in there, you're honestly not even going to notice, and it's not going to hurt anything. So I'm just going to do that over the sink a little bit. Wipe off a couple of these guys. Usually with your sliced mushrooms, there's going to be less dirt than whole mushrooms. All right, almost there. All right, so that'll be good for what we got going on here. Our lemon or lime, got our dill. Now look, I tried to keep it simple with the amount of ingredients for this week. And so I only put mushrooms in the recipe for today. Normally I'd probably add a couple more vegetables. As I mentioned earlier this week in how to build a healthy plate, palm-sized portion of protein, palm-sized portion of complex carbohydrate, meaning your rices, potatoes, and beans and grains, and then fill the rest of your plate with colorful vegetables. So one way I love food, I eat a lot of vegetables, and I fill my plate that way, and it's the way I feel full, helps me feel full, and you don't got to worry about extra calories in that part of it. So I mentioned in the recipe you can slice these guys, quick little slices, no problem. You can also quarter them and kind of do something more like that. And honestly, that's where I might go. Some of these guys are kind of big. So just kind of chop them up in any way that's convenient for you. Unless you bought the sliced ones, they'll use just fine. Now, quite often, when I introduce a client to a recipe that has sausage in it, they're surprised because they don't feel like sausage is a health item. Now, one key when it comes to sausage is do not buy the pre-cooked and already cured sausage. That does have a lot of nitrites and nitrates in it, which again are burdensome elements adding into our body that require nutrients and resources to counteract, eliminate, and expel. But, so if you get the raw ground sausage, does it have some fat in it? Yes. But, as I mentioned before, every single day in our meal planner, if you ate the breakfast I have in there, the snack, the lunch, and the dinner, every single meal planner is under 2,000 calories, quite often under 1,500 calories. Not only that, 100 grams of protein, multiple antioxidants, fiber-rich foods that feed the microbiome, and probiotic-rich foods which help repopulate the microbiome. So, again, avoid the fried foods. Avoid the packaged processed foods that are laden with inflammatory oxidized oils and fats, and focus on our whole foods. The saturated fat in our animal products is extremely important when it comes to hormone balance and actually cholesterol balance. The USDA is just recently coming out with different dietary recommendations and guidelines for the first time in 30 years, and they're starting to pull back away from the concept that dietary cholesterol leads directly to an elevation in blood levels of cholesterol, and it's just not that way. It just has taken the government, it's a long time, and it's not easy to change their dietary guidelines, but fearing fat is one of the side effects from the dietary recommendations that came out in the 80s that was just not healthy recommendations. So we don't fear fat here at Chef Theory Health. Instead, we are choosy with our fats. Recognize there's good fats, there's harmful fats. And that's part of what I go through in my 6-week Fundamentals of Nutrition course. So I do a whole week talking about fats. I wish I could tell you guys everything in this small little challenge, but there's just not enough time. All right, enough talking about that. So our sausage is broken up, mostly cooked, 99% cooked there. Added our mushrooms into the mix. Like I said, I'm doubling this recipe, so instead of a half cup of rice, I'm using a full cup of rice. Okay. That means I'm going to use 2 cups of water. And again, could use a stock here, a broth, to add even more flavor. But since you're cooking the rice with the meat and veggies, it just adds tremendous flavor. This style of cooking that I'm doing right here, with everything in one pan, your protein, your carbohydrate, and your veg, all in one pan, so simple, so easy. You can do it with all different types of elements. If you wanted to do ground beef, rice, and a bag of frozen vegetables, throw your taco seasoning in with that, or just throw in some lemon and garlic. You could do it with seafoods. I try each week in my meal planners to show clients different ways of preparing foods that you can add flavor and make it simple and easy. And that's what this dish really does. And it's one reason I wanted to highlight it with you guys for the meal planner. Healthy Eating Kickstart is it's a nice cooking technique. Reduces the dishes. There was not a lot of prep time and chopping and having to go into this, especially if you had pre-cooked or pre-sliced vegetables. I'm going to add my water now. There we go. 2 cups of water. That one was just a little short. All right. And then we're going to cook this just like you were cooking the pot of rice that we did on Taco Tuesday. Now, the other thing that I did in the instructions there is I had lime juice. And I said lime zest. You don't need to zest the lime, guys. You can just juice the lime and be good with that. You could do it now. You could do it at the end of the dish. I'm going to do it now. I have it as a finishing touch in the dish. But I'm going to go ahead and add it in right now. Stir that around. All right. I'm going to bring that up to a boil. We're going to cover it. All right. We're going to set our timer for 20 minutes because that's how long it takes the rice to cook. And then we're going to turn it down to low and let it simmer really as low as you can kind of go for that 20 minutes, and it's going to be done. Got a little fresh dill that we'll finish it off with, and that's it. It's really that easy, and again, a dish full of flavor, full of nutrients. I try to incorporate mushrooms into my menu planners on a weekly basis. They have some detoxification properties that are really supportive of the immune system, are one of the characteristics. Mushrooms are almost their own category of, they're not quite a plant, they're like not quite alive as an animal, they're a fungus, and they have with that unique nutritional properties. And the main one is boosting our immune system. Also, different mushrooms are great for cognitive benefits, meaning thought and brain health. But short story long, love to incorporate some mushrooms. I'm going to put a pause on it until this is done after the 20 minutes, and we'll check on it. All right. Set the timer for 20 minutes. Chopped up my fresh dill while that was going. I let it sit for a couple of minutes just to finish up. And just like we did when we cooked our regular rice, just going to fluff it up a little bit. Like I said, this is really a versatile style of cooking. You could just do beef and carrots. You could do beef and mixed vegetables. You could do shrimp and seafood in these ways. Just a little bit different than doing it like this. So, I'm going to scoop out a little bit here. Really one pan, one pot dish. 30-minute cooking. Making healthy, delicious, and easy. Sprinkle a little bit of our fresh dill on top. If you didn't add your lime juice, you wanted to do that before. And there it is. The one pot sausage and mushroom dish. Fantastic eating. Hope you guys enjoyed this week. And I can't wait to try next week's video with you.